I'm going to be going through each division and giving my divisional winner predictions. I saw a sports show talking about how many new divisional winners do you think there's going to be. They were predicting 3 or 4, maybe even 5. I think that's a little bit too many. I'm going to go through each division again and remind you who won the division last year because someone probably forgot a few. So AFC North, the Bengals; East, Bills; South was the Jags; West was KC; and then moving on to the National Football League, the NFC North was the Vikings; the NFC East, the Philly; NFC South, Tampa; NFC West, San Francisco. Starting out with the AFC North, a fairly strong division, not one of the strongest in the AFC though. That's probably the AFC West or maybe even the AFC East. But for the AFC North, it's going to be pretty simple. It's going to be the Baltimore Ravens or the Cincinnati Bengals. No way the Browns and Deshaun Watson win this. I mean, Deshaun Watson, we don't even know if he's going to be a viable quarterback this upcoming season, as he was terrible last season. Now he could have just been rusty after not playing for so long, but there's a very good chance Deshaun Watson's football career could be done as a starter. For the Steelers, we all know the meme, it's gonna be another average Mike Tomlin season, and it's true. They're not gonna be super bad, but they're not gonna be super good. I don't think Kenny Pickett is terrible, but I don't think he's an all-star quarterback. They're probably gonna go 9-8, 8-9, maybe even 7-10. I think the Steelers would be average, and for my divisional winner, I think it's going to be the Cincinnati Bengals. It could be the Ravens, but I just think the Bengals are stronger on defense and offensively. They have so many weapons, and just Joe Burrow, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now, and he has so many weapons, like Jamar Chase. Like, no one's going to be stopping the Bengals. Now, for the Ravens, don't count them out. They easily could win the division, and they're probably going to be a solid team, good defense, pretty solid offense, especially with Lamar back, and they almost beat the Bengals in the playoffs last season in Cincinnati. They should have won this game. I think this is the biggest choke of the year. Why would you make this play call when Lamar, this is the play for Lamar to jump over the goal line? I don't know who made this play call. I think it was the worst play call of the whole year. Really unlucky for the Ravens. They had this game won. I still think they're going to be good, but I think Cincinnati wins the division. Moving on to the AFC East, I think this is the hardest division to predict in probably all of the NFL. You have the Bills, who have won the division the last 3 years. Solid offense with Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. Gabe Davis is pretty good. And then they have, obviously, a phenomenal defense. But people think that the Bills are a little overrated because they just cannot get any playoff success. I mean, ever since Patrick Mahomes had that game-winning touchdown drive with, 13 seconds left, the Bills can just not perform in the playoffs. They lost at home to the Bengals, as I said earlier. It's looking rough. People don't believe in the Bills 100%. So the Bills have a well-deserved doubt around their team. I mean, they almost lost at home against the Dolphins without their starting quarterback in the wild card round last year. I think if you're doubting the Bills, it's well-deserved. But it makes it harder to win the division when Aaron Rodgers is taking over at quarterback for the Jets, taking over instead of Zach Wilson. So it's interesting to see how well the Jets' offense will be, because if the Jets have a good offense, I would probably pick them to win the division because they have, obviously, a super strong defense. An average offense wasn't really good with Zach Wilson, but if Aaron Rodgers can take over and make something of it, if he can play well, they'll probably be pretty solid because obviously Aaron Rodgers, one of the best quarterbacks of all time, but can he perform at a high level? Last year with the Packers, we kind of saw Aaron Rodgers fall apart. Wasn't very good. We saw, especially the game at Ford Field, I believe week 9 against the Lions, threw 3 interceptions. A few of them were pretty bad, and a lot of just air balls, a lot of incompletions. Was not solid. And then for the Dolphins, I know they have a ton of weapons and speed with Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and they just signed Jalen Ramsey, so a buff for their defense. But Tua is one bad hit away from never playing football again, and then you're gonna have Skylar Thompson come in there and finish the season. I feel like the Dolphins are a little overrated right now. I know there's definitely a lot of potential with this team, but I feel like at the same time it could all be gone within seconds. And I didn't mean to totally ignore the Patriots. They could finish 3rd, but I have them finishing 4th. They're definitely not going to finish 1st or 2nd. I'm sorry if you're a Patriots fan. So when you're looking at the AFC East, do you want to pick the clear favorite, Buffalo Bills? They're probably going to have a lot of regular season success, but they can just never perform in the postseason. And last year's postseason, they crumbled. So going into this season, are they going to continue to crumble, or are they just going to have another solid regular season and then crumble again in the playoffs? Do you want the Jets? Super solid defense. Offense is questionable. Can Aaron Rodgers perform? If he can perform at a high level, the Jets are probably going to be really good. If he performs at an average level, they'll probably be average. Or do you want to pick the Dolphins? A lot of weapons, a lot of talent, a lot of excitement. But if Tua takes a bad hit or they can't perform because the Dolphins defense wasn't super good, you're not going to have anything there. It's a tough one, but I'm going to pick the Jets and Aaron Rodgers to win the division. I think the Bills finished second. You know, the Jets and Bills both have super solid defenses, so it's really going to help them both out. I think Aaron Rodgers comes in here and plays some pretty good ball. It's going to be really embarrassing, I think, if he's really bad or the Jets are really bad. And it would just really be embarrassing again if Aaron Rodgers makes the playoffs and then just has zero playoff success. I would honestly like to see some playoff success from Aaron Rodgers. I do enjoy watching Aaron Rodgers play as much as I'm a Lions fan. And it's fuck the Packers, you know, but I respect Aaron Rodgers' game. I love watching him. He's enjoyable to watch, even though sometimes I don't really agree with some things he says or does. But he's still a great football player, and I think the Jets are probably going to win the division. However, I'm not a fan of the people that predict the Jets to win the division with so much confidence. I'm just confused on where that confidence is coming from, because Aaron Rodgers wasn't very good last season and the Jets weren't that good that last season. So if you're picking the Jets, like the Jets are going to win 100%, I think you're crazy with that much confidence. Moving on to the AFC South, I think this one is relatively easy to predict. It's going to be the Jags to win this division. They fought back, won it last year, won a playoff game against the Chargers. Unbelievable win for T-Law. I'm rooting for T-Law to win again, and I think he'll get the job done. The Titans, Texans, and Colts all have brand new quarterbacks coming in. The Titans lost their last 7 games to throw away their shot at making the playoffs. The Titans have just been embarrassing for quite a few years now. Colts, Texans, they're both rebuilding. If the Jags don't win this division, it's going to be an extreme choke. And last but not least, we have the AFC West, another super exciting division, probably the most exciting in the AFC. First up, the Broncos. If Russell Wilson can play really good, the Broncos will be really good because they have a top 5 defense. If Russell Wilson plays average, the Broncos might have a chance to go 9-8 because they have such a good defense. And with Sean Payton coming in, the Broncos, they got to be good. Surely they're good. I guess that's what everyone said last year, so we'll see. For KC, Patrick Mahomes, that's all you got to say. For the Raiders, I feel like they had a lot of close games last season and didn't really reflect on their record, how well they played. I think the Raiders could be decent. You know, Jimmy G's coming in. Still, Devontae Adams is still there. The Raiders could be average. And then finally, Justin Herbert and the Chargers made the playoffs, choked it away. I just don't feel like Brandon Staley should still have a job there after you choke away a 27-0 lead in the playoffs. I don't see how the Chargers could ever have success after that. I feel like they're now cursed and they need to get rid of their head coach. I just don't see this team winning a playoff game. I know Justin Herbert is great and their offense is really solid, but defensively they're not very strong, and I don't see how you choke away a 27-point lead. It's any team. If you do that, I just lose so much respect. I may be being too harsh saying they should fire Brandon Staley, but things happen in football. But a 27-point lead, that just doesn't happen unless like you intentionally throw the game away. So that's pretty crazy. The AFC West, I got KC winning it again. Patrick Mahomes is just the GOAT. KC is just too good, and I have the GOAT winning again. Otherwise, I would pick the Broncos to win it if KC doesn't win it. So to recap, AFC West, I have KC. AFC South, I have the Jags again. AFC East, I'm going with the Jets instead of the Bills. And the AFC North, I have Cincinnati. So for the 4 divisions in the American Football Conference, I have one new winner, and that's the Jets instead of the Bills. Otherwise, I think it's going to be repeat for Cincinnati, repeat for the Jags, and repeat for KC. If I had to bet all my money on one of those to win, I would pick the Jags. There's no way the Jags don't win their division. And hopefully I'm not jinxing myself or selling it for the Jags, but it's just, I think that's the easiest division to win right now.